Hey, so we're in Spiral Abyss, floor 12. This video is going to show you the enemies, where they spawn, what happens when you kill them. Left side of the screen is going to be the floor layout, as well as the waves. Right side of the screen is going to be the total number of enemies in the current chamber. As for team comps, you can use either Geo or Animo Traveler in the first half. You can get away with either one. If you're using Noelle, I definitely recommend to have her in the first half. In the second half, we're going to need an Archer and a Pyro Electro combo, because we're going to need to break Geo shields. If you have Fischl, her and Xiangling is probably very good, although the Archer is mostly just used for this first chamber, so if you get 2 or 3 stars, you can realistically switch them out for Lisa and Xiangling, which is probably optimal. So starting in this first chamber, we're just going to have a ton of Hilichurls with Geo shields. Start by running to the front with Geo Traveler, uses ult, and then his skill to kind of chip away at their shields. At this point, if you're using Noelle, you would just pop her ult and just start swinging. Noelle works really well here because one of her main issues is energy, but because you're destroying so many small enemies, you're getting so much energy just by killing them, so you can have her ult up a ton. Once we kill the front line of Hilichurls, these 2 Axe Minichurls are going to spawn. If you still have Hilichurls alive at this point, focus on them before the Minichurls, because once you kill them, this Shield Minichurl is going to spawn, and finding all 3 at the same time is going to save you a lot of time. This is also why you can use the Animo Traveler instead of the Geo Traveler to group them up a little bit easier, but that's really up to you. Okay, moving on to the second half, we're going to start off by fighting an Eye of the Storm right at the top. You have a small window to deal damage right when it spawns, so take advantage of that. If you're having trouble with speed, you can use Kaya and Barbara right at the start to freeze him in place. Stand right under him with Kaya and use your ult, and then swap over to Barbara to use her skill. As long as you make contact with it, you'll freeze it. So as you can see here, I take him down to 50% in the first drop. When he uses his twirl move, try to stay as close to him as possible because that's going to make him go the shortest amount of distance. When he's in the air, just chuck some arrows at him. When he charges like that, you can either decide to hit him with a charge shot to knock him down, or just let him do it and iframe through with an ult. It's really the exact same amount of time, so you're not really losing out on anything. Once we kill him, we're going to have a Ruin Guard that spawns at the bottom. Swap over to your Archer, shoot him in the eye 2 times. And freeze again with Kaya and Barbara. This maximizes the amount of DPS that you can actually have, because you don't have to worry about him moving around, attacking, or worse, doing his spin attack. At some point he will be doing his spin attack, in which case a huge tip for you is to watch out for his stomps, because if he's facing directly at you and he's charging you, his eye or the thing in the back, the thing that you can hit to knock him out, is going to be directly parallel with you with each stomp. So as soon as his foot hits the floor, his eye is right in line with you. So at that point, the only thing you have to take into account is your arrow speed, the amount of time it takes for your arrow to hit him. I know that's really hard, but it saves you a lot of time so you don't have to go through that spinning animation. It is hard to get consistent. I still don't have it consistent, but knowing that it's in time with his steps is really big. And now we move on to Chamber 2. Again, this wave is just dealing with a bunch of small enemies. In this case, we have 12 regular treasure hoarders and then 3 more. Again, Noelle does very well here because you are going to constantly have your ult up. Geo damage is increased. She's going to be doing a lot. Geo Traveler is there to supplement her energy recharge, which is why if you're having trouble with that, you can choose to have Geo Traveler over Animo Traveler, but if energy recharge is not a problem for you, then you can go with Animo, just to group them all easier. Now I know I'm using Zhongli here, but he happens to be my main DPS. It sucks that this floor is basically tailored to him because I can't show a realistic approach to this, but Noelle is probably your closest bet. Now once we kill all those treasure hoarders, 3 more are going to spawn, 2 guys with shovels, and then a pugilist. This is the exact same thing, just their basic enemies, just kill them how you normally would. And with them down, we move on to the second half. This second half is very straightforward. It's literally just 2 pyro agents. Again, you can try to use Barbara and Kaya to freeze. Audio cues are huge for these guys. Once you hear them say anything, that means they're going to dash forward. So you have to dash out of the way as well to avoid any damage. They're most likely going to be grouped up together a lot of the time because they have the exact same AI pattern. So take advantage of that when you can to save some time. Moving on to the third chamber, we're going to have to deal with 2 shield mid-turtles. Run immediately to the side, left or right, it doesn't matter, because they're going to charge at you immediately, so getting them together is going to save you a lot of time. If you're using Noelle here, breaking these shields is not going to be a problem. Which is why I say that if you wanted to switch over to Animal Traveler, you can, because Noelle will have no problem breaking their shields. These guys like to charge a lot. If you manage to stagger them while they're doing their little animation, they will not charge, but you kind of run the risk of, are they going to get staggered or are they still going to charge forward? So it is a little bit difficult to get them to be together, but just try your best. At this point you probably have 5 or 6 stars, so you realistically only need 1 to get through here, because 6, 7, and 8 stars are all the exact same. You would need 9 to be able to get that last reward. And I don't know about you, but for me that's going to be impossible for a very long time, and I feel like for other F2Ps it's going to be very difficult as well, unless you really hyper invest into some characters. Once we kill them, we're going to have a Assistant Mage and 2 Potioneers. The Assistant Mage does have an aura. You can go after the Potioneers first because they're going to be a lot easier to kill. If you opted for Animo Traveler, he works very well here to be able to group them all up together, to be able to hit them all at the same time. Do that if you absolutely do need 2 stars or even 1 star and you're struggling to get it right now. Animo Traveler is probably going to be your best bet. I'm not too concerned about speed here, just because I know 9 stars is not really feasible for most people. Once we've finished with that, we move on to the second half. Again, we're dealing with 2 shield Minotaurs. This time they spawn on the sides instead of the front and the back. So you're going to want to move to the front of the room. This is why we need a Pyro-Electro combo, because the only other Claymore that we have is Noelle. So like I said, Lisa and Xiangling is more optimal, but if you have Fischl and Xiangling together would do very well. Alternatively, if you have a freeze comp, you can kind of do what I'm doing right here, but Kaya and Barbara together do not produce enough, or I guess Kaya specifically doesn't produce enough cryo to be able to freeze, so it's not super feasible. But if you happen to have a Kaya or Xingqiu and Chongyun, then you might be able to make it work, because that does ignore shields. Once those two are down, we just have a single Pyro Fatui agent, and then we're done. Staggering him is going to save you a lot of time if that is something that you're concerned with. Alternatively, if you have a character that can knock back, either with charge attacks or with a skill, you can technically knock him into the wall like I'm trying to do right here. And if he hits the wall at a specific angle, he will take extra damage. But like I said, few characters can do this, so if you don't have one, it's not a big deal. And with that, we're done. I was only able to get 1 star here. You might be able to get 2, but like I said, for me, 6 stars, 7 stars, 8 stars are all the same. So unless I get 9 stars, it's not going to be a difference. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you want. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!